Konnichiwa, and welcome to Tsuki no Ame, where we try Japanese sweets and treats. Today we have a very special episode from Sakuriko. So these are our Amanatto Candied beans. Uh, so those of you who are familiar with Japanese traditional sweets might already know this, but beans over in Japan tend to be sweet, and they show up a lot in desserts and sweets and things like that. Which feels very unusual just because, over here in the US, that's generally not the case. Uh, but these are four different beans that have been candied. There are adzuki red beans, white kidney beans, green peas, and kidney beans. And I think we have all four in here. I think I'm able to identify. Uh, we're gonna see how this turns out. I am really curious to see, just because like I said, we've had a lot of things with bean paste that have been absolutely amazing. So I'm just really interested to see how this turns out. I think it could be really good. I'm at least willing to give it a shot. I think this is going to be a very interesting, very interesting treat. So with all that in mind, let's get started. Itadakimasu! All right. So first things first. What it is oh, well, that's easy. So we have a pea, we have a white kidney bean, we have two red beans in here. So I'm assuming we have one of each, but it might be that the two red beans are actually the same. And I honestly do not know enough about beans to know which is which, so we're gonna just start with this one. If they're different colors, I can tell, but beyond that, that's really interesting. Um, so it is sweet. It's definitely very sweet, but the texture is a lot more like you would get with just eating a bowl of beans. Um, Much more so than the bean paste. I think that's the first time I've really had the texture kind of feel off. I've usually been good with bean paste, but I know there are some people who have trouble with it. And I know somebody who just the texture being sweet instead of savory just can't. Um, I can see their point there. It is good. It is very tasty, but it's a lot firmer than you usually get with the bean paste. It's a lot closer to what you would get. The texture actually making me think a little bit of Mexican food. Good, tasty, just kind of messes with your head a little bit. So moving on to our next one, which again, I don't know for sure which of the two beans this is. I only know so much about beans. I say that and then I bit in and immediately knew that this was the Atsuki red bean. And the reason is just the texture. A little bit the flavor, but mostly the texture because so the first one that had a texture that very much lined up with beans that I'm used to eating. But this one was much softer. Much, much softer. It definitely was a lot more in line with the bean paste that we get in, the traditional Japanese sweets, and in things like the dorayaki, and it's a lot sweeter than I'm pretty sure the first one was the kidney bean and this one is the Itsuki. It's a lot sweeter, just that texture is a lot smoother, a lot softer. That one was really good. That one that one I'm good with. This is interesting because, like I said, I haven't historically had a lot of problem with the texture of bean paste and things like that, and I think it definitely has to do with just differences in texture from the Adzuki bean to the kidney bean. That's gotta be it. So, just basing off of color, this is probably our white kidney bean. So again, this one is definitely firmer. It's not quite hitting the same textural notes as the first one, and I think these are also sweeter. The first one was the least sweet so far. Um, Really nice, soft. Um, they're not really chewy, like, you bite into it and there's no resistance, there's no spring back. Um, Really pretty pleasant to eat, honestly. The soft texture is really lovely. Oh, I think this is gonna be the most interesting. Uh, this is our final one, our green pea. Um, these are just wild. Okay, that one's actually kinda gross. Um, so the first one, like I said, was kind of messing with my head a little bit. I was kind of getting, some vibes from, like, Mexican food and whatnot. It wasn't really necessarily working for me. The second one, honestly, is my favorite of all of them. The third one, also really pretty good, not bad. This last one, though, it definitely tastes like peas, and the candying, the sugar on them, just it doesn't work. It's the softest of them, but it's also just I if you're curious, definitely try, but I would say if you get the chance to try these, maybe avoid the peas. Avoid the green peas. Um, the smaller of the red beans, I think are the best. The white kidney beans were also really pretty good. Um, but avoid the green ones. I really do feel like the other beans that were chosen for this were much better suited, and definitely tastier, at least for me personally. Gochiso-sama. So to recap, we tried our Amanatto candied beans, which for the most part were really pretty good. It was really kind of interesting just getting to compare and contrast the different textures of these. Uh, I'd say the green peas were not great. Those were definitely the worst. Um, and then the larger of the red beans, I thought was probably my second least favorite. It was okay, but it kind of messed with me personally. But the other two were really pretty good. So if you enjoy things like bean paste, you might be kind of curious just to compare them and see the differences between the textures and the flavors. From that aspect, I think they were pretty fun. Mostly, I'm just kind of I don't know if you can tell, but we only had two red colored beans, and we just happened to be fortunate to get all four flavors in here. Um, I really wish I'd had more of those. Those Tsuki beans are really good, and if you get the chance, if you're curious and you get the chance to try just those Tsuki red beans, I would take it absolutely, just because those were hands down the best out of the package. Uh, Definitely would like to try those. I might have to see if I can get my hands on some. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. If you like my shirt, the link for that is down in the description below. And please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Johnny.